Picture yourself on a train, the 4.50 from Paddington, rattling through the English countryside as the sun dips low, painting the fields in gold. You're half dozing, lulled by the clack of the wheels, when you glance out the window and freeze. In the train passing beside you, through a fleeting gap in the blinds, you see a man strangling a woman, her hands clawing desperately at his. The trains part, the moment vanishes, and you're left gasping, heart pounding, with no one to believe your story. This is the chilling scene that sets Miss Jane Marple, the sharp-eyed spinster of St. Mary Mead, on a twisting path to uncover a murder no one else saw. Welcome to Miss Marple's investigation at 4.50 from Paddington, a tale of cunning, secrets, and a quiet old lady who sees what others miss. Stick with me as we dive into a mystery that starts with a fleeting glimpse and ends with a truth that shakes a family to its core. Let's begin with chapter. It's a crisp autumn afternoon in 1950s England, and Miss Jane Marple is visiting her friend, Mrs. Elspeth McGillicuddy, a sturdy, no-nonsense woman who's just returned from a shopping trip in London. They're sipping tea in the cosy clutter of Elspeth's cottage, the fire crackling softly, when Elspeth's face grows pale, her teacup trembling in her hand. "Jane," she says, her voice barely above a whisper, "I saw something dreadful on the train today, the 4.50 from Paddington." Miss Marple, with her gentle smile and eyes that miss nothing, sets down her knitting. "Tell me, Elspeth," she says, her tone calm but curious. And so Elspeth spills her story. As her train chugged through the countryside, another train ran parallel, and through a window she saw a man strangling a woman, her face contorted in terror before the blinds snapped shut. "I told the conductor," Elspeth says, "but he thought I was imagining things. No one believes me, Jane." Miss Marple, ever the keen observer of human nature, listens intently, her mind already sifting through possibilities. She knows Elspeth isn't prone to hysterics. Her friend is as practical as a pair of sensible shoes. "Describe the man," Miss Marple says, her voice soft but insistent. Elspeth frowns, clutching her teacup. "He was tall, dark-haired, I think. But it was so quick, Jane. The woman, she had blonde hair, a blue coat. She was fighting, but he was too strong." Miss Marple nods, her fingers tracing the edge of her saucer. "And the train, did you see its destination?" Elspeth shakes her head. "It was moving too fast. But I know what I saw, Jane. It was murder, determined." To help, Miss Marple suggests they report the incident to the police, but Elspeth is hesitant. "They'll think I'm a silly old woman," she says. Miss Marple's eyes twinkle with quiet resolve. "Then we shall make them listen, Elspeth." They visit the local station, where a skeptical Inspector Craddock takes Elspeth's statement, his pencil tapping impatiently. "Mrs. McGillicuddy," he says, "no body's been found. No missing persons reported. Perhaps it was a couple, arguing." Elspeth bristles, but Miss Marple interjects, her voice mild but firm. "My friend is not mistaken, Inspector. A murder was committed, and I suggest you check the trains running parallel to the 4.50 from Paddington yesterday." Craddock sighs, promising to look into it, but his tone suggests he's humouring them. Back at the cottage, Miss Marple's mind is already at work, piecing together the puzzle. She knows the police will find nothing without a nudge. She's seen their methods before, thorough but lacking imagination. "Elspeth," she says, "we need to know where that other train was going, and we need to find that woman or her body." Elspeth looks alarmed. "Jane, you can't mean to investigate yourself." But Miss Marple's smile is serene. I shall do what I can, dear. I have a friend, Lucy Eyelesbarrow, a remarkable young woman who might help us. Lucy, a brilliant housekeeper with a knack for solving problems, is just the ally Miss Marple needs to dig deeper. As Elspeth frets, Miss Marple begins to map out the mystery in her mind. A murder on a moving train, seen only by chance, suggests a killer who thought they were unseen. But why? And where is the body? The blue coat, the blonde hair's small details, but to Miss Marple, they're threads in a tapestry of human behaviour. She recalls a similar incident in St. Mary Mead, where a glimpse of a quarrel led to a hidden truth. People don't change. She muses aloud. They only hide better. Elspeth, still shaken, agrees to help, but her fear is palpable. Miss Marple pats her hand. Don't worry, dear. We'll find the truth, one stitch at a time. This chapter has set the stage, a fleeting glimpse of murder, a skeptical police force, and Miss Marple's quiet determination to unravel the impossible. Elspeth's story is the spark, but the fire is yet to come. What happened to the woman in the blue coat, and who was the man who thought no one was watching? In the next chapter, we'll follow Miss Marple as she enlists Lucy Eyelesbarrow to trace the path of the mysterious train, uncovering a clue that points to a grand estate with secrets of its own. If you're hooked on this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's next. 1. The soft glow of a single lamp illuminates Miss Jane Marple's sitting room in St. Mary Mead, where she sits with a cup of tea, her knitting needles clicking rhythmically as her mind races. The chilling tale told by her friend Elspeth McGillicuddy. Fleeting glimpse of a murder on the 4.50 train from Paddington has ignited Miss Marple's curiosity, her sharp eyes gleaming with the quiet determination that has solved many a mystery in her sleepy village. The police, led by the skeptical Inspector Craddock, have dismissed Elspeth's story as the fancy of an overexcited old lady, but Miss Marple knows better. Elspeth is no dreamer. Her account of a man strangling a blonde woman in a blue coat, seen through the window of a passing train, is as real as the teacup in her hand. We must act, Jane, Elspeth says, her voice tight with worry as she paces the room, her sturdy frame casting long shadows on the floral wallpaper. That poor woman, whoever she was, deserves justice. Miss Marple nods, her smile gentle but resolute. And she shall have it, Elspeth. But we need a plan, and I know just the person to help us. Miss Marple's plan hinges on Lucy Eyelesbarrow, a young woman whose intelligence and resourcefulness have made her a legend in domestic service. Lucy, with her Oxford education and knack for uncovering secrets, is the perfect ally for a case that requires both cunning and discretion. Miss Marple telephones her, her voice calm but urgent. Lucy, dear, I have a rather unusual task. It involves a train, a murder, and a family that may be hiding more than they let on. Lucy, intrigued by the challenge, agrees to meet at St. Mary Mead the next morning. When she arrives, her crisp efficiency and bright eyes put Elspeth at ease, though the older woman still fidgets with her scarf. Miss Marple, Lucy says, settling into a chair, you said it was the 4.50 from Paddington. What do we know about the other train? Miss Marple's fingers pause on her knitting. Very little, I'm afraid, but I suspect it was heading somewhere near Brackhampton, where the tracks run parallel for a stretch. We need to find out where it stopped and where a body might have been hidden. Lucy, ever practical, suggests they start with the railway timetable and the geography of the line. She spreads a map across the table, her finger tracing the route from Paddington to Brackhampton. The trains run close together for about a mile near Rutherford Hall. She says, pointing to a sprawling estate marked on the map. If the body was disposed of, it could have been tossed from the train. There are plenty of woods and fields to hide it. Miss Marple's eyes light up, her mind recalling the habits of villagers who thought themselves unseen. Rutherford Hall, she muses. The Crackenthorpe family lives there, don't they? An old family, wealthy but troubled, if the gossip is true. Elspeth frowns. You think the murder's connected to them? Miss Marple's smile is cryptic. I think, Elspeth, that trouble follows wealth like a shadow. Lucy, could you find a way to get inside Rutherford Hall? Lucy's grin is confident. I can do better than that, Miss Marple. The Crackenthorpes are always hiring staff. They're notorious for it. I'll apply as a housekeeper. It'll give me access to the house, the grounds, and the family's secrets. Miss Marple nods approvingly, her knitting resuming its steady rhythm. Be careful, Lucy. If a murder was committed, the killer may still be close. Elspeth, still shaken, interjects. But Jane, what if the body's gone? What if it was never there? Miss Marple's voice is soft but firm. Then we'll find other traces, dear. A murder leaves ripples fear, guilt, lies. We just need to watch for them. The next day, Lucy sets her plan in motion, securing a position at Rutherford Hall with her impeccable references and charm. The estate is a grand, crumbling relic of Victorian wealth, its sprawling lawns bordered by dense woods and a railway line that cuts through the property like a scar. Lucy arrives with a suitcase and a sharp eye, greeted by Emma Crackenthorpe, the family's only daughter, a quiet woman in her 40s with a strained smile. We're so glad you're here, Miss Eyelesbarrow, Emma says, leading her through a cavernous hall lined with dusty portraits. The house is difficult to manage. Lucy nods, noting the tension in Emma's voice, the way her eyes flicker toward the windows overlooking the railway. The family is a motley crew. Luther Crackenthorpe, the cantankerous patriarch, obsessed with his fortune. His sons Cedric, a bohemian artist, Harold, a cold city banker, and Alfred, a charming but shifty drifter, and a son-in-law Brian, a war veteran with a restless air. Each, Lucy senses, is hiding something. As Lucy settles in, she begins her subtle investigation, cleaning rooms while listening to the family's conversations, her sharp mind cataloguing every detail. She notices a locked shed near the railway line, its door scratched and weathered, as if recently used. During a quiet moment, she examines it, finding a faint stain on the ground mud, or something darker, Miss Marple will want to know about. This, she murmurs, slipping a sample into a handkerchief. She also overhears Cedric arguing with Alfred about money, their voices low but heated. You're reckless, Cedric snaps. If father finds out, we're all done for. Alfred's laugh is sharp. He won't, unless someone talks. Lucy, pretending to dust a nearby shelf, files the exchange away, her suspicions growing. Back in St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple pores over the railway timetable, her finger tracing the parallel tracks near Rutherford Hall. She visits the local station, chatting with a porter who confirms that the 4.50 from Paddington often runs alongside a slower train to Brackhampton. Any stops near Rutherford Hall? She asks, her tone casual. The porter nods. There's a signal stop just by the estate. Trains pause. There's sometimes a minute or two. Miss Marple's eyes narrow, long enough to push something or someone out. She returns to her cottage, writing to Lucy with instructions. Search the grounds near the railway. Watch the family, and look for anything out of place: a blue coat, a blonde hair, a trace of violence. The mystery is taking shape, but the shadows are deep. Elspeth's glimpse of murder points to Rutherford Hall, where the Crackenthorpe family's secrets simmer beneath their wealth. Lucy's presence in the house is a spark, but the killer, if there among the family, won't stay hidden for long. Was the woman in the blue coat a stranger, or someone tied to the Crackenthorpes? And where is her body? Miss Marple. Quiet determination drives the investigation, her knack for seeing through human nature guiding Lucy's every move. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she uncovers a chilling clue in the shed, pulling her deeper into the family's tangled web and closer to the truth. If you're hooked on this cozy yet gripping mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to keep unraveling the secrets with us. The sprawling grounds of Rutherford Hall are cloaked in the chill of an autumn evening, the railway line cutting through the estate like a dark vein. Lucy Eyelesbarrow, Miss Marple's sharp-witted ally, moves through the grand house with the efficiency of a seasoned housekeeper, her eyes and ears attuned to every creak, whisper, and sidelong glance. The mystery of the murder, Elspeth McGillicuddy, witnessed on the 4.50 train from Paddington. A man strangling a blonde woman in a blue coat has led her here, to the Crackenthorpe family's decaying mansion, where secrets fester beneath a veneer of wealth. Miss Marple's instructions are clear. Search the grounds, watch the family, and look for traces of the crim: a blue coat, a blonde hair, anything out of place. Lucy's discovery of the locked shed near the railway, with its scratched door and faint stain, weighs on her mind as she dusts the drawing room, her thoughts racing. Something's not right here, she murmurs, glancing out the window at the shed's shadowed outline. The Crackenthorpes are a tangled knot of motives, and Lucy is determined to unravel them. The family is a study in contrasts, each member a potential suspect. Luther Crackenthorpe, the patriarch, rules the house with a miserly grip, his sharp tongue lashing out at his children over breakfast. "You're all leeches," he grumbles, his eyes glinting with distrust as he counts out the household expenses. Cedric, the artist's son, lounges with a smirk, his paint-stained fingers tapping the table, unbothered by his father's tirade. Harold, the banker, sits stiffly, his city polish at odds with the house's decay, while Alfred, the drifter, flashes a charming but hollow smile, his eyes darting to the door. Emma, the only daughter, hovers anxiously, trying to keep the peace, and Brian, her war veteran brother-in-law, stares out the window, lost in his own thoughts. Lucy, serving tea, listens to their bickering, noting the undercurrents of resentment. Money, she thinks. It's always about money with families like this. But is it money or murder? Late that night, when the house is quiet, Lucy slips out to investigate the shed. The moon is a sliver, casting just enough light to guide her across the frost-kissed lawn. The railway line hums faintly in the distance, a reminder of Elspeth's chilling glimpse. The shed, tucked behind a cluster of oaks, is old but sturdy, its door secured with a heavy padlock. Lucy, prepared for such obstacles, pulls a hairpin from her pocket and sets to work, her nimble fingers picking the lock with practiced ease. The door creaks open, releasing a musty smell of damp wood and something sharp and metallic, almost like blood. Her heart quickens as she steps inside, her small flashlight sweeping the cluttered space. Rusted tools, a broken chair, and a pile of burlap sacks in the corner. Kneeling by the sacks, Lucy notices a faint stain on the floor, dark, sticky, not unlike the one she saw outside. She touches it, her fingers coming away with a faint red smear. Blood, she whispers, her breath catching. She pulls back a sack, revealing a bundle of cloth, a woman's blue coat, crumpled and torn, with blonde hairs clinging to the collar. Her pulse races as she examines it, noting a monogram stitched inside. AC, not Mary, then, she murmurs, but who? The coat is stained with more than dirt, dark patches that could be blood, and a faint scent of perfume, floral and expensive. Lucy tucks the coat under her arm, knowing Miss Marple will need to see it, but as she turns to leave, a noise stops her, a soft thud from the trees outside, like a footstep on dry leaves. Lucy extinguishes her flashlight, crouching in the shadows. Her hand grips the hairpin, a poor weapon but better than nothing. The footsteps draw closer, deliberate, and a figure pauses outside the shed, their silhouette tall and lean against the moonlight. "Who's there?" Lucy calls, her voice steady, despite her pounding heart. No answer, but the figure moves away, melting into the trees. Lucy waits, counting to 10, then slips out, locking the shed behind her. Back in her room, she hides the coat in her suitcase and writes a hurried note to Miss Marple. Found a blue coat in the shed, blonde hairs, possible bloodstains, monogram AC, someone was watching. Need guidance, in St. Mary Mead. Miss Marple receives Lucy's note the next morning, her sharp eyes narrowing as she reads. She sits by her window, her knitting untouched, her mind weaving the clues together. A blue coat, blonde hairs, she muses, and a C, not one of the Crackenthorpes, surely, but someone close to them. She recalls village gossip about the family Luther's obsession with his inheritance, the son's constant squabbles, and Emma's quiet strength hiding a lifetime of burdens. A woman connected to the family, Miss Marple thinks, perhaps a mistress, a cousin, or a secret kept from the world. She writes back to Lucy, urging caution. Search the house for anything linked to a sea watch. Cedric and Alfred, they're the most likely to act rashly. And the shed, check it again, but not alone. Lucy, back at Rutherford Hall, redoubles her efforts, blending into the household routine while keeping her eyes open. She notices small things. Cedric's late-night walks near the railway, secretive phone calls, and Brian's odd habit of sketching the grounds, his drawings lingering on the shed. During a cleaning stint in Emma's room, Lucy finds a locked diary, its leather cover worn but intact. She hesitates, then slips it into her pocket, knowing Miss Marple would approve of bending the rules for justice. Later, in her room, she picks the lock and scans the pages. Emma's neat handwriting reveals family tensions, including a cryptic reference to Anna, a woman who visited last month and left abruptly. Anna was trouble, Emma wrote, but Harold swore she'd never come back. Lucy's mind races. Could Anna be a C? The shed's discovery has cracked the case open, but the danger is growing. The blue coat, the bloodstains, the mysterious. A seethe. They point to a murder hidden in the shadows of Rutherford Hall. Who was the woman in the train? And why was her body concealed? Was the watcher in the trees a Crackenthorpe, or someone else guarding the secret? Lucy's role as Miss Marple's eyes and ears is becoming riskier, and the family's tensions are a powder keg waiting for a spark. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she digs deeper into the diary's secrets and faces a confrontation that brings the killer's identity into focus. If you're caught in this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to keep unraveling the truth with us. The grand, crumbling halls of Rutherford Hall hum with an undercurrent of tension as Lucy Eyelesbarrow moves through her duties, her sharp mind piecing together the fragments of a murder scene only by Elspeth McGillicuddy on the 4.50 train from Paddington. The blue coat with blonde hairs, monogrammed AC, hidden in the locked shed. And the bloodstains on the floor have confirmed Miss Marple's suspicions. A crime was committed, and its roots lie within the Crackenthorpe families. Tangled web. Lucy clutches Emma Crackenthorpe's stolen diary in her room. Its worn leather cover, a treasure trove of secrets she's only begun to unravel. The mention of Anna, a mysterious woman who visited and left abruptly, gnaws at her. As the autumn wind rattles the windows, Lucy feels the weight of being Miss Marple's eyes and ears. Knowing the watcher in the trees court, lurking near the shed means danger is close. "I'm getting somewhere," she whispers, flipping through the diary, "but who's watching me?" Lucy's days at Rutherford Hall are a delicate dance of housekeeping and sleuthing. She polishes silver and serves tea, all while observing the family's fractured dynamics. Luther Crackenthorpe, the patriarch, is a storm cloud, his obsession with his fortune poisoning every meal. "No one's getting a penny until I'm gone," he snaps, glaring at his son Cedric, the carefree artist with paint-stained hands. Harold, the icy banker whose polished exterior hides a calculating edge. And Alfred, the charming drifter whose smiles never reach his eyes. Emma, the daughter, keeps the peace, but her strained expression betrays exhaustion. Brian, the war veteran, son-in-law, drifts through the house, his sketches of the grounds lingering on the railway and the shed. Lucy notes every detail: Cedric's late-night strolls, Alfred's hushed phone calls, and Harold's habit of locking his study door. One of them knows something, she thinks, but which one? The diary, read by candlelight in Lucy's attic room, reveals more than she expected. Emma's neat handwriting chronicles years of family strife, Luther's refusal to share his wealth, the brothers' schemes to secure it, and Anna, a woman who arrived unannounced 6 weeks ago. Anna was charming but dangerous, Emma wrote. Harold brought her, said she was a friend, but I saw the way she looked at him too familiar. She left after a row, and Harold swore she'd never return. I hope he's right. Another entry, dated a week before Elspeth's train journey, is chilling. Anna came back, begging for money. Alfred was with her, whispering in the garden. I told them to leave, but I fear what they've done. Lucy's heart races. Anna, with the initials AC, could be the woman in the blue coat. Was she killed to silence her? Lucy decides to investigate further, focusing on Harold and Alfred. She slips into Harold's study during a rare moment when he's out, her housekeeper's key granting access. The room is meticulous, with ledgers stacked neatly and a locked drawer that resists her hairpin. She finds a receipt for a train ticket to Paddington, dated the day of the murder, tucked inside a book. Harold was in London, she murmurs, but why? In Alfred's room, she finds a crumpled letter, its handwriting unfamiliar but urgent. Meet me at the signal stop. Bring the money. The paper smells faintly of the same floral perfume as the blue coat. Lucy tucks both finds into her pocket, her mind buzzing. Anna was here, and they both knew her. But who killed her? She returns to the shed under cover of dawn, this time with a small trowel to dig around the stained floor. The earth is loose, recently disturbed, and she uncovers a silver locket, its clasp broken. Engraved with a C inside is a faded photograph of a blonde woman, her face strikingly like the one Elspeth described. Lucy's breath catches as she hears a twig snap outside. She hides the locket and slips out, spotting Cedric's silhouette retreating toward the house. He's watching the shed, she thinks, her pulse quickening. She sends a coded letter to Miss Marple. found locket. AC, blonde woman. Harold and Alfred linked to Anna. Cedric, suspicious. Danger, close. In St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple reads Lucy's letter, her knitting untouched as she sips tea by her fire. Anna, she muses, a woman caught in the Crackenthorpe weblover, blackmailer, or both. She recalls a village scandal years ago where a woman's charm hid a dangerous secret, undone by greed. People repeat their mistakes, she says softly, writing back to Lucy. Focus on Harold and Alfred. The locket is key. Check the railway signal, stop something was left there. Take Brian with you. He's an outsider, but may help. Miss Marple's instincts tell her the murder is tied to the family's fortune, but the killer's motive, money, or fear remains elusive. Back at Rutherford Hall, Lucy enlists Brian, whose easygoing nature masks a sharp mind. I need to check the signal stop, she says, showing him the locket. It's risky, but I trust you. Brian, intrigued, agrees, and they sneak out at dusk, the railway line a dark ribbon under the fading light. The signal stop is a lonely platform, overgrown with weeds, where trains pause briefly. Lucy searches the underbrush, finding a torn scrap of blue fabric caught on a thorn, its perfume matching the coat. Brian, scanning the tracks, spots a glinter woman's earring, silver, tucked in the gravel. This wasn't here by chance, he says, his voice low. As they turn to leave, a shadow moves in the trees. Alfred, his face pale, watching them. What are you doing here? He demands, his charm gone. Lucy's smile is cool. Just a walk, Alfred. Care to join us? The diary and the locket have tightened the net, but the killer is close, their eyes in every shadow. Anna's connection to Harold and Alfred points to a secret worth killing for, and the railway's clues the fabric, the earring confirm the murder's stage. Cedric's lurking and Alfred's suspicion raise the stakes, and Lucy's role is growing riskier. Miss Marple's guidance keeps her grounded, but the Crackenthorpe family's secrets are a maze, and the truth is buried deep. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy and Brian as they confront Alfred, uncovering a revelation that brings the murderer's identity into focus. If you're gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to stay with us as the net closes. The twilight air at Rutherford Hall carries a biting chill as Lucy Eyelesbarrow and Brian Eastleigh stand at the lonely signal stopped by the railway line, the faint hum of distant trains echoing through the darkening woods. The clues Lucy has uncovered: the blue coat with blonde hairs monogrammed AC, Emma Crackenthorpe's diary mentioning a mysterious Anna, the silver locket with a blonde woman's photograph, and now a torn scrap of blue fabric and a silver earring found in the underbrush tightened the web around the murder. Elspeth McGillicuddy witnessed on the 4.50 train from Paddington. Alfred Crackenthorpe's sudden appearance at the signal stop, his face pale and his usual charm replaced by a sharp edge, has set Lucy's nerves on edge. What are you doing here? Alfred demands again, his eyes darting between Lucy and Brian, lingering on the earring in Brian's hand. Lucy's smile is calm but calculated, her mind racing under Miss Marple's guidance to probe without revealing too much. Just a walk, Alfred, she says, slipping the earring into her pocket. But you seem awfully interested in this spot. The air crackles with tension, and Lucy knows this confrontation could break the case or put them in danger. Brian, his war veteran instincts kicking in, steps forward, his easygoing demeanor masking a readiness to act. Care to explain why? You're out here, Alfred, he asks, his tone light but firm. Alfred's laugh is forced, his hands fidgeting in his coat pockets. I could ask you the same, Brian. Sneaking around with the housekeeper. Not very gentlemanly. Lucy senses the deflection, her eyes catching the faint bulge in Alfred's pockets, something heavy, perhaps a weapon. She keeps her voice steady, channeling Miss Marple's knack for disarming with kindness. We found something, Alfred. A piece of fabric, an earring. They might belong to Anna. You knew her, didn't you? Alfred's face tightens, his charm crumbling. Anna, don't know what you're talking about, he snaps, but his eyes betray panic. Flicking toward the railway tracks, Lucy decides to push harder, pulling the locket from her pocket and holding it up, its silver catching the fading light. This was in the shed, Alfred. Monogrammed AC. Emma's diary mentions Anna, says you and Harold were involved with her. Care to tell us who she was? Alfred steps back, his hand inching toward his pocket, but Brian moves closer, his presence a quiet warning. Easy, mate. Brian says, we're just talking. Alfred's voice rises, a mix of fear and defiance. You've got no business meddling, Lucy. Anna was nobody a friend, that's all. She came asking for money, caused trouble, then left. That's the end of it. Lucy's mind races. His story matches Emma's diary, but the panic in his eyes tells her there's more. Left, she says, her tone gentle but probing. Or was she made to disappear? On a train, perhaps. Alfred's face pales, and for a moment, Lucy thinks he'll bolt. Instead, he slumps against a tree, his bravado fading. I didn't hurt her, he mutters, his voice barely audible. Anna was complicated. She was Harold's mistress, years ago. Came back last month, threatening to tell father about his debts unless he paid her off. I tried to help, met her at the signal stop to give her money, but she never showed. Lucy exchanges a glance with Brian, her heart pounding. The signal stop, she says, where the trains pause. Convenient place to get rid of someone, isn't it? Alfred's eyes widen, but before he can respond, a twig snaps in the woods, and all three turn. The tension spiking. Lucy's hand tightens on the locket, her senses alert. Someone's out there, she whispers. Brian nods, scanning the trees. But the shadows reveal nothing. Alfred, shaken, takes the chance to slip away, muttering about needing to talk to Harold. Lucy lets him go, knowing a direct confrontation might push him too far. He's scared, she says to Brian, but he's not the killer. He knows something, though. Brian frowns, holding up the earring. This honor, she's the woman from the train, isn't she? And this spots it where it happened. Lucy nods, tucking the fabric and earring into her pocket. We need to tell Miss Marple, and we need to watch Harold. Back in St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple receives Lucy's latest letter detailing the confrontation and the new clues. She sits by her fire, her knitting untouched, her mind weaving the threads together. Anna, a mistress with a hold over Harold, she muses, her eyes narrowing. And Alfred, caught in the middle, too weak to act alone. But the railway, the signal stop, it's the key. She recalls a village case where a jilted lover's threats led to violence, hidden by a clever lie. People kill to protect their secrets, she says softly, writing to Lucy. Harold is the key now. Search his study again, look for financial records, the earring and fabric, keep them safe. Take Brian to the signal stop at night. The killer may return. Miss Marple's instincts tell her the murder is about money, but the Crackenthorpe's tangled relationships suggest a deeper motive: love, betrayal, or both. Lucy, back at Rutherford Hall, redoubles her efforts, slipping into Harold's study during a family dinner. The locked drawer yields to her hairpin, revealing a ledger with frantic scribbles: debts to loan sharks, payments to an AC totaling thousands. A hidden note in a woman's hand reads, "Harold, you can't hide forever. Pay or I." Tell all. Lucy's pulse. Racisana was blackmailing him. She also finds a railway timetable, circled for the day of the murder, with the signal stop marked. "He was there," she whispers, slipping the note into her pocket. As she leaves, she catches Cedric watching from the hall, his paint-stained hands clenched. "Careful, Lucy," he says, his tone ambiguous. "This family doesn't like snoops." Lucy smiles, but her heart pounds. She's being watched, and the killer knows she's close. That night, Lucy and Brian return to the signal stop, the railway tracks glinting under a crescent moon. The air is heavy, the woods silent except for the rustle of leaves. Lucy kneels by the spot where she found the earring, her flashlight sweeping the gravel. She finds a faint scratcher knife mark, perhaps, or a struggle. Brian, keeping watch, suddenly stiffens. "Lucy, behind you." She turns, but it's only a fox, its eyes glowing in the dark. Still, the sense of being watched lingers, and Lucy knows the killer is near, perhaps Harold, perhaps another Crackenthorpe hiding in plain sight. "We're getting too close," she says, clutching the locket. "We need to move fast." The confrontation with Alfred has peeled back another layer, revealing Anna's blackmail and Harold's desperation. The signal stop with its fabric. An earring is the murder stage, but the body remains hidden, and the killer's identity is a shadow. Lucy's discoveries, the ledger, the note, the timetable point to Harold, but Cedric's lurking and Alfred's fear suggest a deeper conspiracy. Miss Marple's guidance keeps Lucy focused, but the danger is closing in. The Crackenthorpe estate a maze of lies. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she digs into Harold's secrets and uncovers a clue that brings the murderer's face into focus, pushing her into a deadly encounter. If you're gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to stay with us as the truth draws near. The air in Rutherford Hall is thick with unspoken secrets as Lucy Eyelesbarrow navigates the grand but decaying estate. Her housekeeper's apron a perfect disguise for her role as Miss Marple's sleuth. The clues she's uncovered: the blue coat with blonde hairs monogrammed AC, the silver locket with a photograph, the torn fabric and earring at the signal stop, and the damning ledger in Harold Crackenthorpe's study point to a murder tied to the family, seen only by Elspeth McGillicuddy on the 4.50 train from Paddington. The ledger's frantic scribbles of debts and payments to a C, paired with a blackmail note from Anna, suggest Harold's desperation to silence a dangerous secret. Alfred's panicked denial at the signal stop and Cedric's watchful presence have heightened Lucy's unease, the sense of eyes in every shadow growing stronger. As she polishes a silver candlestick in the dining room, her mind churns. Harold's the key, she thinks, recalling Miss Marple's letter urging her to dig deeper into his financial records. But if he's the killer, why is the body still missing? The answer, she knows, lies somewhere in this house or its grounds. Lucy's days are a careful balance of routine and investigation. The Crackenthorpe family's tensions simmer at every meal. Luther's grumbling about his fortune a constant backdrop. "You'll get nothing while I'm alive," he snaps at his sons, his watery eyes glinting with mistrust. Cedric, sprawled in his chair, laughs off the threat, his artist's hands stained with paint, while Harold's jaw tightens, his banker's polish fraying under the strain. Alfred, ever the charmer, deflects with a grin, but Lucy catches him slipping a note into his pocket, his eyes darting to Harold. Emma, the peacemaker, looks exhausted, her hands twisting a napkin, while Brian, the outsider, sketches absently, his drawings fixated on the railway line. Lucy, serving soup, notes every glance, every pause. They're all hiding something, she thinks, but Harold's ledger's the thread to pull. Late that night, Lucy slips back into Harold's study, the house creaking under the weight of its secrets. The locked drawer, opened once before, yields more this time. A hidden compartment beneath the ledger, containing a bundle of letters tied with red ribbon. The handwriting is Anna's, the same as the blackmail note, but these are personal, intimate. "My dearest Harold," one begins, "you promised we'd be together, but your family's greed stands in our way. Pay me, or I'll tell Luther everything." Another, more recent, is chilling. "I know what you did in London. The train was a mistake. Meet me at the signal stop, or I go to the police." Lucy's heart pounds. Anna wasn't just a mistress. She knew something dangerous, something worth killing for. Tucked among the letters is a pawn ticket for a London shop, dated the day before the murder. "He pawned something," Lucy murmurs, "but what?" She searches the study further, finding a locked box under the desk. Her hairpin makes quick work of it, revealing a man's pocket watch, its face scratched, engraved with H.C. Harold. Crackenthorpe, a faint stain on the chain, looks like dried blood. Lucy's breath catches. The watch could link Harold to the murder scene. She pockets the pawn ticket and wraps the watch in a handkerchief, knowing Miss Marple will need to see it. As she slips out, a floorboard creaks in the hall. She freezes, heart racing, but it's only Emma, her face pale in the moonlight. "Lucy, what are you doing here?" Emma asks, her voice trembling. Lucy, thinking fast, smiles. "Just tidying up, Miss Crackenthorpe. Harold left some papers out." Emma hesitates, then nods, but her eyes linger on Lucy's hands, as if sensing the hidden evidence. The next morning, Lucy sends a coded letter to Miss Marple, found letters from Anna. In Harold's study, blackmail, threats about a London secret, pawn ticket and bloodstained watch. HCM's suspicious. Need advice on next steps. In St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple reads the letter by her fire, her knitting untouched as her mind weaves the clues together. Anna knew too much. She muses, and Harold's pride. His position wouldn't survive exposure. But the watch, the blood, it's too neat. She recalls a village case where a planted clue misled everyone, the real killer hiding behind a scapegoat. Harold's involved, she says softly, but is he the strangler? She writes back, send the pawn ticket to Inspector Craddock anonymously. Search the grounds again. Look for a disturbed earth near the signal stop. Stay close to Brian, but trust no one else. Lucy, following Miss Marple's advice, enlists Brian to revisit the signal stop at dawn. The railway line is quiet, the platform overgrown with weeds, its solitude eerie in the pale light. Lucy kneels by the spot where she found the earring, digging carefully with a trowel. The earth is loose, and she uncovers a small metal box, rusted but intact. Inside is a woman's ring, gold with a single sapphire and a folded note. Harold, you can't bury the truth. The handwriting matches Anna's letters. Brian, keeping watch, whistles low. This is it, Lucy. She was killed here, wasn't she? Lucy nods, her mind racing. And someone buried this to frame Harold Dorr to warn him. As they cover the box and leave, Lucy notices a fresh footprint in the mud, too large for Alfred, too small for Cedric. Harold's been here, she whispers, or someone wants us to think so. Back at the house, Lucy overhears a heated argument between Harold and Alfred in the library. You idiot, Harold hisses. You should have kept her quiet. Alfred's voice is sharp. Don't pin this on me, brother. You're the one who couldn't let her go. Lucy, dusting nearby, pretends not to hear, but her pulse quickens. Anna was a shared secret, and the brothers are cracking under pressure. She slips away to mail the pawn ticket to Inspector Craddock, adding a note. Check London pawnshops for items linked to Harold Crackenthorpe. As she returns, she catches Cedric watching her from the garden, his paintbrush still, his eyes cold. You're too curious, Lucy, he says, his tone half joking, half threatening. Lucy smiles, but her hand grips the ring in her pocket. The ledger, the letters, the watch, and the ring have drawn a tight circle round Harold. But the footprint and Alfred's argument suggest a deeper conspiracy. Anna's blackmail threatened the Crackenthorpe fortune, but who acted to silence her? Was it Harold, protecting his reputation, or Alfred, covering his own schemes? Cedric's watchful gaze and Emma's suspicion add layers of doubt, and the missing body keeps the truth just out of reach. Lucy's discoveries are pushing the killer to the edge, and the signal stops. Secrets are a ticking clock. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she follows the pawn tickets trail to London, where a shocking discovery pulls the murderer's identity into focus. If you're hooked on this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to keep unraveling the truth with us. The early morning mist clings to the cobblestones of London as Lucy Eyelesbarrow steps off the train from Brackhampton, her mind buzzing with the weight of the clues she's uncovered at Rutherford Hall. The blue coat monogrammed AC, the silver locket with a blonde woman's photograph, the torn fabric and earring at the signal stop, the damning ledger in Harold Crackenthorpe's study, and the buried ring with Anna's threatening note have all pointed to a murder tied to the Crackenthorpe family, witnessed only by Elspeth McGillicuddy on the 4.50 train from Paddington. The pawn ticket found in Harold's study, dated the day before the murder, is her next lead. Sent anonymously to Inspector Craddock, but now driving her to a gritty London pawn shop to uncover what Harold or someone else tried to hide. Lucy's heart races as she navigates the bustling streets, her housekeeper's efficiency masking a growing unease. Harold's secrets are unraveling, she thinks, clutching the copy she made of the pawn ticket, but the killer's still watching. Miss Marple's latest letter, urging her to trace the ticket and stay close to Brian, echoes in her mind. A reminder that danger is near. Lucy finds the pawn shop in a narrow alley off the Strand, its grimy window cluttered with tarnished watches, faded jewellery, and dusty instruments. The bell jingles as she enters, the air thick with the smell of old leather and metal. The pawnbroker, a wiry man with a squinting gaze, looks up from his ledger. What's this, then? He grumbles, eyeing Lucy's neat appearance with suspicion. She slides the pawn ticket across the counter, her voice calm but firm. I'm here about this. Can you tell me what was pawned? The broker checks the number, then rummages in a back room, returning with a small velvet box. Inside is a woman's sapphire necklace, its clasp engraved with a seeth, the same initials as the coat and locket. Lucy's pulse quickens. Who brought this in? She asks. The broker shrugs. Tall chap, dark hair, posh suit, didn't give a name, said it was his wife's, needed quick cash. Lucy's mind flashes to Harold, his banker's polish, his secret debts. When she presses, day before the date on the ticket, the broker says, seemed in a hurry. Lucy buys the necklace, knowing its evidence, and steps back into the alley, her thoughts racing. The necklace links Anna to Harold, but why pawn it the day before the murder? Was he raising money to pay her blackmail, or disposing of evidence? As she tucks the necklace into her bag, a shadow moves at the alley's enderman, his face obscured by a hat, watching her. Lucy's heart skips, but she keeps walking, her pace steady, remembering Miss Marple's advice to stay calm. The man doesn't follow, but the prickling at her neck tells her she's not alone. She sends a telegram to Miss Marple from a nearby post office. Found sapphire necklace. AC, pawned by man matching Harold's description, being watched. Returning to Rutherford Hall, she also wires Inspector Craddock, urging him to check the shop's records. Back in St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple reads Lucy's telegram by her fireside, her knitting needles still, her sharp eyes narrowing. A necklace, pawned in haste, she murmurs, and Anna's initials again. Harold's caught in a net, but is he the strangler? She recalls a village scandal where a man sold his lover's jewels to cover a debt, only to be undone by his own panic. Greed and fear make people careless, she says, writing back. Keep the necklace hidden. Confront Harold with the evidence, but have Brian nearby. Search the signal stop, again look for traces of a struggle. The killers. Getting nervous. Miss Marple's instincts tell her Harold's financial ruin is the motive, but the family's tangled relationship Salfred's schemes. Cedric's lurking, Emma's silence suggest a deeper conspiracy. At Rutherford Hall, Lucy returns to a house crackling with tension. Luther Crackenthorpe's tirades grow sharper, his distrust of his sons palpable. You're all waiting for me to die, he snaps at dinner, his fork stabbing the air. Cedric laughs, but Harold's face is a mask, his eyes darting to Lucy as she serves. Alfred, nursing a glass of wine, avoids her gaze, while Emma's hands tremble, her usual calm fraying. Brian, sketching the railway line again, catches Lucy's eye, nodding slightly. After dinner, Lucy corners Harold in the library, her voice low but firm. Mr. Crackenthorpe, I found something in London, a necklace, pawned the day before a woman was seen strangled on a train. It's engraved AC, care to explain? Harold's face pales, his hand gripping the armrest. I don't know what you're talking about, he stammers, but his voice cracks. Anna was a mistake, a fling. She's gone, that's all. Lucy presses, holding up the pawn ticket copy. You pawned her necklace, Harold, and her letters, they threatened to expose you. Did you meet her at the signal stop? Did you silence her? Harold stands, his banker's composure gone. You're meddling in things you don't understand, Lucy. Leave it alone, or you'll regret it. Brian, lingering in the doorway, steps in, his presence calming but firm. Easy, Harold. She's just asking questions. Harold glares, then storms out, leaving Lucy and Brian to exchange a glance. He's hiding something, Brian says, but he's scared, not guilty. Lucy nods, her mind racing. Scared. Of what or who? That night, Lucy and Brian return to the signal stop, guided by Miss Marple's instructions. The platform is eerie in the moonlight, the tracks glinting like a silver thread. Lucy searches the underbrush, finding more signs. Of a struggle scratched dirt, a broken twig. and a faint smear of blood on a rail, too small for a fatal wound but enough to confirm violence. Brian, scanning the woods, spots a Glinterman's cufflink, engraved with C.C. Cedric. He whispers, handing it to Lucy. He's been here, too. As they turn to leave, a rustle in the trees stops them. Lucy's flashlight catches a figure, Alfred, his face ashen, clutching a knife. You shouldn't be here, he hisses, but his hand trembles. Lucy, channeling Miss Marple's calm, steps forward. Alfred, we know about Anna. Tell us the truth, or the police will. Alfred bolts into the woods, leaving Lucy and Brian. Stunned, the necklace and cufflink have tightened the noose, but the killer's face remains blurred. Harold's panic and Alfred's flight point to guilt. But Cedric's cufflink and Emma's silence suggest a family conspiracy. Anna's blackmail threatened their fortune, but who acted to stop her? The signal stops clues confirm the murder's stage, but the body's absence keeps the truth elusive. Lucy's confrontation has rattled the Crackenthorpes and Alfred's. Knife raises the stakes. Someone's desperate to stay hidden. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she pursues Alfred's trail, uncovering a secret that brings the murderer's motive into sharp focus, pushing her closer to danger. If you're gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to stay with us as the truth creeps closer. The moon casts a pale glow over the sprawling grounds of Rutherford Hall, where Lucy Eyelesbarrow and Brian Eastley stand frozen at the signal stop, the railway tracks glinting ominously in the night. The chilling encounter with Alfred Crackenthorpe, ashen face, the trembling knife in his hand, and his sudden flight into the woods has sent Lucy's heart racing, her mind piecing together the mounting evidence of a murder tied to the Crackenthorpe family. The blue coat monogrammed AC, the silver locket, the torn fabric, the sapphire earring, the damning ledger, the pawned necklace, and now Cedric's cufflink found at the signal stop all point to a crime witnessed by Elspeth McGillicuddy on the 4.50 train from Paddington. A blonde woman in a blue coat, strangled by a man in a fleeting glimpse. Alfred's panicked escape confirms he's hiding something, but is he the killer, or just another pawn in a deadly game? Lucy grips the cufflink, her voice low as she turns to Brian. He knows more than he's saying, she says, and we need to find him before he disappears. Brian nods, his war veteran instincts sharp. Let's go after him, Lucy, but we need to be careful, he's desperate. Guided by Miss Marple's instructions to pursue every lead, Lucy knows the trail to Alfred could unravel the mystery or lead them straight into danger. The woods beyond the signal stop are dense, their branches tangling overhead like a net, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and pine. Lucy and Brian move cautiously, her flashlight sweeping the ground for signs of Alfred's flight-broken twigs, scuffed dirt, a faint footprint in the mud. He's not thinking straight. Lucy whispers, spotting a torn scrap of fabric caught on a thorn, its pattern matching Alfred's coat. Brian, scanning the shadows, keeps his voice low. Desperate men make mistakes, but they're dangerous, too. If he's the killer, Lucy shakes her head, her mind racing. He's scared, Brian, not calculating. The killer planned this death, the hidden body, the pawned necklace. Alfred's involved, but I don't think he's the strangler. They press deeper, following a trail of disturbed leaves, until they reach a clearing where a small stream cuts through the estate. There, slumped against a tree, is Alfred, his face buried in his hands, the knife glinting in the grass beside him. Lucy approaches slowly, her voice calm but firm, channeling Miss Marple's knack for disarming with kindness. "Alfred, it's over. Tell us about Anna. We found the necklace, the letters, the cufflink. The police are closing in." Alfred's head snaps up, his eyes wild with fear. "I didn't kill her," he chokes out, his voice breaking. "I swear, Lucy, it wasn't me. Anna, she was trouble, always was. She came to Harold first, years ago, his mistress. When he cut her off, she turned to me, said she'd tell father about our debts unless we paid her." Brian steps closer, his presence steadying. "So, you met her at the signal stop?" Alfred nods, his hands trembling. "I was supposed to give her money, but she didn't show. I swear, I never saw her that night. Harold said he'd handle it, but then she was gone." Lucy's mind races. Alfred's story aligns with the letters and the pawn ticket, but his fear suggests he knows more. "The cufflink," she says, holding up the silver CC engraving. "This was at the signal stop. Cedric's, not yours. Was he there too?" Alfred's face crumples, his voice barely a whisper. "Cedric. He followed me that night. He's always watching, always scheming. He said Anna was a threat to the family, that she'd ruin us. I thought he was just talking, but after she disappeared, he trails off, tears in his eyes." Lucy exchanges a glance with Brian, her pulse quickening. "Cedric," she murmurs. "He's been lurking the shed, the signal stop, Tuesday. Why frame Harold?" Alfred shakes his head. "I don't know. He's always hated Harold's control, father's favorite. Maybe he wanted to bring him down." They escort Alfred back to Rutherford Hall, his resistance gone, his shoulders slumped in defeat. Lucy locks the knife in her room, knowing it's evidence, and sends a telegram to Miss Marple. "Found Alfred, admits meeting Anna at signal stop. Denies murder, points to Cedric. Cufflink and knife secured. Need guidance." In St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple reads the message, her knitting untouched as she sips tea by her fire. "Cedric," she muses, her sharp eyes narrowing. "The artist, the rebel, always on the fringes, but clever enough to hide a body." She recalls a village case where a quiet outsider orchestrated chaos to settle a grudge, planting clues to mislead. "Cedric's cunning, but so is Harold," she says softly, writing back. "Keep Alfred close, but don't trust him. Confront Cedric with the cufflink, but have Brian and Emma present. Search the woods near the stream look for disturbed earth or hidden paths. The body's close." Back at the house, Lucy and Brian find Emma in the parlour, her face pale as she mends a curtain. "Miss Crackenthorpe," Lucy says, her tone gentle, "we need to talk about Cedric. We found his cufflink at the signal stop where Anna was last seen. Do you know anything about her?" Emma's hands freeze, her eyes darting to the door. "Anna, she was Harold's mistake," she says quietly. "She came here, caused trouble, then left. Cedric, he didn't like her, said she was a leech. But he wouldn't." Her voice falters, doubt creeping in. Lucy presses, showing her the cufflink. "This was where she disappeared, Emma. Cedric was there." Emma's face hardens, but she agrees to call Cedric to the library for a confrontation. Her loyalty to the family wavering dot in the library. Cedric lounges with his usual smirk, paint stains on his shirt, but his eyes are wary as Lucy holds up the cufflink. "Found this at the signal stop, Cedric. Care to explain?" His laugh is sharp, but his fingers twitch. "Lost it ages ago. That place is a dumpy new one, could have dropped it." Brian, leaning against the wall, chimes in. Funny how it's right where Anna vanished. You were watching Alfred that night, weren't you? Cedric's smirk fades, his voice cold. You're fishing, Lucy. Be careful, you might catch something you can't handle. Emma, trembling, steps forward. Cedric, if you know something, tell us. This family's breaking apart. Cedric glares, then storms out, leaving a heavy silence. Lucy and Brian search the woods near the stream at dawn. Following Miss Marple's advice, the earth is soft, and Lucy finds a hidden path, barely visible, leading to a small clearing. There, under a pile of leaves, is a disturbed patch of dirt, too neat to be natural. Digging carefully, she uncovers a woman's glove blue, matching the coat with a faint bloodstain. Anna's, Lucy whispers, her heart pounding. As they turn to leave, a rustle in the bushes stops them. A figure, too quick to identify, slips away. Cedric, Brian mutters, but Lucy's not sure. Or Harold, covering his tracks. The glove is another piece. But the body and the killer remain elusive. Alfred's confession and Cedric's denial have tightened the net. But the Crackenthorpe brothers are a maze of lies. The glove, the cufflink, and Anna's blackmail point to a family desperate to protect its secrets. But who struck the fatal blow? Harold's debts, Cedric's scheming, and Alfred's fear weave a tangled web. And Lucy's pursuit is drawing the killer's attention. Miss Marple's guidance keeps her grounded, but the danger is closing in. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she confronts Harold with the glove and uncovers a revelation that brings the murderer's face into focus, pushing her into a deadly trap. If you're gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to stay with us as the truth edges closer. The autumn chill seeps through the drafty halls of Rutherford Hall as Lucy Eyelesbarrow moves with quiet purpose, her housekeeper's apron a thin shield against the growing danger of her investigation. The blue coat monogrammed AC, the silver locket, the sapphire earring, the torn fabric, the damning ledger, the pawned necklace, Cedric's cufflink, and now the blood-stained blue glove found in the woods. Near the signal stop have woven a tightening net around the murder Elspeth McGillicuddy. Witnessed on the 4.50 train from Paddington a blonde woman in a blue coat, strangled in a fleeting glimpse. Alfred's tearful confession and Cedric's sharp denial have pointed to Harold Crackenthorpe's desperate secrets. His debts and Anna's blackmail a motive for murder. But the fleeting figure in the woods, watching as Lucy unearthed the glove, has heightened her unease, the sense of a predator circling closer. Clutching the glove in her pocket, Lucy knows the time for subtlety is fading. Harold's at the center of this, she murmurs, recalling Miss Marple's latest letter urging her to confront him with the evidence, but to keep Brian close and watch for a trap. As she polishes a vase in the dining room, her mind races. The glove's a warning, but from who end to who? The Crackenthorpe household is a powder keg, each family member's tension palpable at breakfast. Luther Crackenthorpe, the patriarch, slams his fist on the table, his voice a growl. You're all plotting against me, waiting for my money. Cedric, lounging with a smirk, flicks paint from his fingers, unfazed, while Harold's face is a mask of control, his eyes avoiding Lucy's. Alfred, pale since his flight in the woods, sips coffee with shaking hands, his charm gone. Emma, ever the peacemaker, tries to soothe her father, but her eyes are tired, her hands twisting a napkin. Brian, sketching the railway line yet again, catches Lucy's gaze, nodding silent promise to back her up. Lucy, serving toast, listens to their barbed exchanges. noting Harold's clenched jaw when Luther mentions debts. He's cracking, she thinks, and the glove might break him. After breakfast, Lucy corners Harold in his study, the door half open for safety, Brian lingering in the hall. She pulls the glove from her pocket, its blue fabric stained with blood, and sets it on the desk. "Mr. Crackenthorpe," she says, her voice steady but sharp. "This was found near the signal stop, where Anna was last seen. It matches the coat we found, monogrammed AC. Your letters, your necklace, your timetable all point to you. What happened on that train?" Harold's face drains of colour, his banker's polish crumbling as he stares at the glove. "You're meddling in things you don't understand, Lucy," he says, his voice low but trembling. "Anna was a mistaker, greedy woman who wanted to ruin me. I paid her off, that's all." Lucy leans forward, channeling Miss Marple. Gentle persistence. Paid her off, or silenced her. "The police have the pawn ticket, Harold. They'll trace it to you." Harold stands, his hands gripping the desk, his voice rising. "I didn't kill her. Yes, I met her in London, gave her money to leave us alone. She was alive when I left her at Paddington." Brian steps into the doorway, his presence calm but firm. "Then why the glove, Harold, and the blood?" Harold's eyes dart to the door, as if expecting rescue or escape. "I don't know about any glove," he snaps, but his voice cracks, and Lucy sees fear, not guilt. "Someone's setting me up, Cedric, probably. He's always hated me, wanted father's favour." Lucy tucks the glove away, her mind racing. Harold's scared, but is he lying? She thanks him, leaving him shaken, and slips away with Brian to plan their next move. Lucy sends a telegram to Miss Marple, confronted Harold, denies murder, claims he paid Anna off. Glove found in woods, bloodstained. Points to Cedric framing him. Need advice. In St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple reads the message by her fire, her knitting untouched, her sharp eyes glinting. Harold's fear is genuine, she muses, but Cedric's cunning fits the pattern. She recalls a village case where a jealous sibling planted evidence to ruin a rival, only to trip over their own lies. "The glove's a plant," she says softly, "but the body where is it?" She writes back, "Hide the glove with the other evidence. Search Cedric's studio, look for paint, tools, anything tied to the railway. Take Brian and Emma to confront him, but be ready for a trap." The killer's desperate now. Back at Rutherford Hall, Lucy sneaks into Cedric's studio. A cluttered attic filled with canvases and the sharp smell of turpentine. Brian keeps watch as she searches, finding a sketchbook with drawings of the signal stop, one showing a woman in a blue coat, her face blurred but her blonde hair clear. "He knew Anna," Lucy whispers, her heart pounding. Tucked behind a canvas is a small knife, its blade stained with what looks like blood, and a scrap of blue fabric matching the glove. "Cedric's been to the signal stop," she says, showing Brian the knife. As they leave, Emma appears, her face pale. "Lucy, I found something in Cedric's room, a letter from Anna, demanding money. He never told me." Lucy nods, her suspicions growing. "We need to talk to him, Emma, now." They find Cedric in the garden, painting the railway line, his smirk fading as Lucy holds up the knife and sketch. "Care to explain this, Cedric, and Anna's letter?" Cedric's laugh is sharp, but his eyes are cold. "You're clever, Lucy, but you're wrong. Anna was a leech, yes, but I didn't touch her. Harold's the one with blood on his hands." Emma, trembling, steps forward. "Cedric, stop lying." If you know something, tell us. Cedric's face hardens, and he turns away, but not before Lucy notices a fresh scratch on his hand. Too fresh to be coincidence. As they return to the house, a crash echoes from the shed glass, breaking wood, splintering. Lucy and Brian rush to find it broken open, the blue coat gone, and a note pinned to the door. You're too late, Lucy's. Blood runs cold. The killer knows we're close, she says, clutching the note. Brian's face is grim. Cedric or someone else's covering their tracks. The glove, the knife, and the sketch have pushed the investigation to a breaking point. But the stolen coat and the note mean the killer is one step ahead. Harold's fear, Cedric's lies, and Alfred's flight point to a family conspiracy. But the missing body keeps the truth elusive. In the next chapter, we'll follow Lucy as she chases the stolen coat's trail, leading to a deadly encounter that reveals the murderer's face. If you're gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button and subscribe to stay with us as the truth breaks free. The air at Rutherford Hall is heavy with dread as Lucy Eyelesbarrow stands in the shattered doorway of the shed. The stolen blue coat gone and the taunting note you're too late pinned like a dagger to the wood. The clues she's uncovered. The coat monogrammed AC. The silver locket, the sapphire earring, the torn fabric, the ledger, the pawned necklace, Cedric's cufflink, the bloodstained glove, and the knife in his studio have woven a tight net around the murder Elspeth McGillicuddy witnessed on the 4.50 train from Paddington. A blonde woman in a blue coat, strangled in a fleeting glimpse. Harold's panic, Alfred's flight, and Cedric's lies point to a family conspiracy, but the broken shed and missing evidence mean the killer is desperate, their steps growing reckless. Lucy clutches the note, her heart pounding as she turns to Brian Eastley, his war veteran calm, a steady anchor. They're running scared, she says, her voice low, but they've made a mistake. That note it's fresh, written in haste. Miss Marple's latest letter, urging her to search for the body near the railway and confront the family together, burns in her mind. We're close, Brian, Lucy whispers, and tonight we end this. The Crackenthorpe household is a storm of tension at dinner, Luther's grumbling a low thunder as he glares at his sons. You're all vultures, he snaps, his hands shaking around his wineglass. Cedric, paint-stained and defiant, smirks, while Harold's banker's mask is cracking, his eyes darting to the door. Alfred, pale and silent, avoids Lucy's gaze, his hands fidgeting. Emma, her face drawn, tries to keep the peace, but her voice trembles. Brian, sitting beside Lucy, sketches absently, his pencil lingering on the shed. Lucy, serving dessert, watches every move, her mind piecing together the Clusanna's blackmail. Harold's debts, Cedric's knife, Alfred's fear. The killer's in this room, she thinks, and they know I'm close. After dinner, she gathers Emma, Brian, and the brothers in the library. Her plan to confront them with Miss Marple's guidance, lay out the evidence, watch their reactions, and force the truth. In the library, Lucy sets the stage, placing the locket, earring, glove, and Cedric's sketch on the table, the note here to late at the center. This is about Anna, she says, her voice calm but firm. Channeling Miss Marple's quiet authority, she was blackmailing Harold, threatening to expose his debts. She was seen on a train, strangled, and her coat was hidden in the shed until tonight, when someone stole it. Harold's face pales, his hands clenching. I told you, I paid her off, he snaps. Cedric laughs, but it's forced, his scratched Hand twitching. You're grasping, Lucy. That could be anyone's coat. Alfred, trembling, mutters, I didn't touch her, I swear. Emma, her eyes wet, steps forward. Enough lies. Anna was here, and one of you knows what happened. Lucy holds up the knife from Cedric's studio. It's blade-stained. This was found with Anna's sketch, Cedric. And your cufflink was at the signal stop. Care to explain? Cedric's smirk fades, his voice cold. You're clever, Lucy. But you're wrong. I didn't kill her. Brian, leaning against the wall, chimes in. Then why the knife? And why was the shed broken in two tonight? Before Cedric can answer, a crash echoes from the hall glass, shattering footsteps running. Lucy and Brian bolt toward the sound, finding the back door open, a trail of mud leading to the railway. They're running, Lucy says, grabbing her flashlight. Emma, shaking, joins them, while the brothers hesitate, fear in their eyes. They follow the trail to the signal stop, the tracks glinting under the moonlight. The woods are silent, but Lucy's flashlight catches a glint apiece of the blue coat, torn and caught on a bush. They're here, she whispers, her heart racing. Brian points to a pile of disturbed earth near the tracks, hidden by leaves. Lucy digs, her hands trembling, and uncovers a shallow grave woman's body. Blonde hair matted, a blue scarf around her neck. Monogrammed A.C. Anna. Lucy breathes, her voice breaking. Emma gasps, tears streaming, while Brian kneels. Checking for clues, a man's handkerchief, initialed H.C., clutched in the woman's hand. Harold, Brian says, his voice grim as they turn to leave. A figure lunges from the shadows. Harold, his face wild, a shovel raised. You couldn't leave it alone, he shouts, swinging at Lucy. Brian tackles him, pinning him to the ground, while Emma screams. Lucy, her heart pounding, binds Harold's hands with her scarf, her voice steady despite the chaos. It's over, Harold. You killed Anna to hide your debts, didn't you? And you framed Cedric to throw us off. Harold's fight fades, his voice a sob. She'd have ruined me, my career, my family. I met her on the train, paid her, but she laughed, said she'd tell father. I lost control. Lucy sends Brian to fetch Inspector Craddock, who arrives with officers, his skepticism gone as he sees the body and Harold's confession. You've done my job for me, Miss Eyelesbarrow, he says, cuffing Harold. Emma, devastated, clings to Lucy. I should have seen it, she whispers. He was always so proud. Cedric and Alfred, shaken, admit their part knowing Anna's. Blackmail, but staying silent to protect the family. The shed's break-in was Harold's desperate attempt to destroy the coat, but his panic betrayed him. Back in St. Mary Mead, Miss Marple receives Lucy's final telegram, her knitting resumed. As she smiles by her fire. Harold's pride was his undoing, she muses, recalling a village case where arrogance hid guilt. People think they can outrun their secrets, but they never do. She visits Elspeth, who's relieved but shaken. You found her, Jane. Elspeth says, her voice soft. That poor woman. Miss Marple pats her hand. Justice is a slow stitch, dear, but it holds. Lucy returns to Rutherford Hall to wrap up her work. The family fractured but healing, Emma vowing to mend their bonds. The truth is out. Harold, driven by fear of ruin, strangled Anna on the train, hid her body, and planted clues to frame Cedric. The coat, the locket, the glove were pieces of a puzzle Miss Marple and Lucy solved with quiet cunning. The Crackenthorpe secrets are laid bare, and justice prevails in the shadow of the railway. If you've been gripped by this cozy yet chilling mystery, hit that like button, subscribe, and comment below what did you think of Miss Marple's triumph. Share your favorite moment and stick around for more mysteries, because with Miss Marple, there's always another secret to unravel.